Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen on the line. You are welcome to this class today. This is our second class. I want to believe that we all enjoy our day. For those that are just joining the class for the first time, my name is Dr. Abimbola Bashir Owulabi. I am from Abinko International Resources Limited. We had our first class on Monday, and I want to believe some of the things that we did has been gone through by you all. So please, whatever we do in our lesson, try to go through over it and if possible practicalize it. Open the platform by yourself, do the practical and submit it. A submission page is going to be opened and the link will be sent on our platform. So for those of us that are joining the class for the first time, I welcome you all to the class. This is HTML class, and I want to believe that as you are joining us, as we are going to be part of us in the class, you all benefit a lot. Just take your time and follow us as the event unfolds. Now, to move straight to our class, like I said last time, I want to believe that everybody has downloaded the application for the program, for the training. Here with me, I'm going to use a Visual Studio Code. That's what I'm using for my design. So whatever you are using at your own end, please make sure you are with it and open it and try to implement whatever we are doing here right now. Now, to start with the program, we want to go through the process of opening the Visual Studio Code. I think since I've installed it on my laptop here, so let me go straight to the application and try to open it and to see how we can use it to demonstrate whatever I want to demonstrate today. So this is what I'm using. Now, immediately after the installation, the system will take you here. The system will take you to this particular page. Let me open. We can create new folder, we can create new file, but before we get to that level, this is the application and this is the home page of the application. So when we get to this home page, we can, for us to be able to use Visual Studio Code, the first thing we need to do is to create a folder. That folder can be created on the platform. And after creating the folder, every other thing that we are going to be using on the application will be inside that folder. The files that is going to display all our pages will be put inside the folder. The graphics, the video, the audio that we are going to use will be put inside the folder. Then the link that we're also going to use will also be put inside the folder. So right now, we can create our folder. We want to see how we can create our folder. Look at this particular, there are three major items here that we are going to be using. The first one is new folder. The second one is new file. So those two things, those are the things we'll be using to create our HTML design. So whatever we want to design, everything will be put inside that particular folder. So from now we can create a folder here and call it HTML class. We have a folder called HTML class. The folder is already there. This folder is called HTML class. So inside this folder now, we can create a file. The file that we are going to use, that will display the home page, the coding page, where all the HTML code will be entered. Then if we right click on this, I will say new file. Mind you, when you are creating new file, the new file that you are creating must have an extension of HTML. If it is CSS file, it must have an extension of CSS. If it is JavaScript file, it must have the extension of JS. So, but the one we are creating now, after we have created the folder, you realize with me that this particular information, this particular file, is going to be created inside this folder. Then we cannot say that we can name the folder now HTML class dot HTML. Now we have, this is the file, the HTML class. You realize with it that this HTML class is inside the HTML folder class that we have created. So whatever we want to do will be inside this part. This is the working environment now for HTML with visual video code. This is the working environment. On this environment, this is where we are going to enter all our codes. And the moment you are able to get to this particular point, the next thing we are going to do is to enter the skeleton of HTML. HTML has skeleton, and everything that you are going to do with HTML is going to be within that skeleton. And the first thing we do is, like I told you initially, that HTML has the opening tag and closing tag. Inside the opening and closing tag, that is where we have your comment. So now we can have I've opened less than, because I want to open the opening tag now, but because this is, I want to insert a comment. Once I insert this and I press shift with exclamation mark and I press enter, it gives us this. Now this symbol gives us, is telling us that this is document type, and this type of this document, it is HTML5. If you are using Notepad, you can still also have your document type. The document type is telling us that everything we are going to be doing inside this platform, it is on HTML5. So as it is said, we have opened a document type. The next thing we go there, then we have our opening tag again. Then we say HTML, then we close it. Now when you look at, I told you initially that every tag has an opening tag and a closing tag. The moment you type less than and you put that particular tag inside the bracket, the moment if you want to close it, automatically the closing tag will come out. So inside the closer, we have already established our document. That this one is telling us that everything we are going to do here is within this HTML file. The first one is to tell us the type of document we are working on, which is a document, which is HTML5. It is not going to be executed. is not an executable line. The execution of HTML starts from the opening tag of HTML and it ends at the closing tag of HTML. So after this one, we can now have our head. We can have our head. Try to close it. This is our head. What does our head indicate? Our head indicates an element that contains the meta information about the HTML page. When we open HTML page, the head, because inside the head, that's why we are going to have our title. And the title of the document we are working on is going to reside within the title opening tag and the title closing tag. So in most cases, when we want to define our CSS file, we define our CSS file under the head tag. So now going further, we have a title. This is our title. Now, if you look at the title now, you realize that the title has the opening tag. It also has the closing tag. So I'm trying to bring out the HTML skeleton. So because like I said earlier on, that everything we are going to do will be inside that HTML skeleton. So whatever we want to create, whatever the file we want to create, will be under this HTML skeleton. Now we have our title. Our title, let's say we have our title is our HTML class. Class 2. This is we have given the title. Now, after the title, like we have closed it. Then we have the head. The head, the opening tag of the head and the closing tag of the head. That is where the title appears. The title appears between the closing opening tag of the head and the closing tag. Then we can now, after that, we can come here and create the body. This is the body. Now that we have created the body, now everything we want to do, we have already established our HTML skeleton. So as we have already established our HTML skeleton now, like I said initially, I said that the first HTML, the opening which indicate the opening tag and the closing tag, indicated that element is the root of the, or that all elements that are within this particular tag, everything that are within this particular tag are under HTML. So you are telling your page, you are telling the system that whatever that is done from here and here, the system should see it as HTML document. Now, our title, like I said, we can run our title code to see what we are talking about. This is our title. We have our title, our HTML class 2. Then we close it. Let's see what it will break out. Because it's a new folder, and of course that is a new file that is working, that is inside a new folder. So we have to select where we want the execution to take place, whether with the Chrome or with the Edge. For on my laptop, we are selecting the Chrome. Now this is the execution page. After the execution, this is what comes of the HTML. If you look at this particular, you see our HTML class 2. That is the title of the HTML. If you open most of your website, the moment you open the website, if you look at here, you see the title of the website. So this is title of the HTML, and on the address bar here is the part of the HTML, the part where that particular information resides, from the C to the user, to the desktop, to the Abinco, down to the final name of the HTML. So it is the part of the HTML that we are currently working on. So going further, so now we have our skeleton that is already working here. Now after that, the next thing we are going to work on is to have our headings. Our headings. What is head? When we talk of head tag, no, last time we were discussing about tags, the opening tag, the closing tag, and this time we are looking at the head tag. The head tag. So if we are having our head tag, you will realize with me that this is what we want to be. So under our head tag, it means I'm talking about the head, which is the font. It determines the font of that particular information, the comments that you are entering. What determines the font of that comment is the head tag. And the first thing we look at, and the head tag comes in 6 different formats. It comes in 6 different formats, and we use H to represent our head tag. And when we use H to represent our head tag, now the number will now determine how we want the comment of the other that head tag appear. If you want it big, if you want it medium, if you want it small, that is where we are going to define it. Take for instance, we have H1. We have let me go back to my page. Let's come to the body here. We have we are trying to open our tag. We have a head tag here. We have a head number 1. Then we come down here. We have another head. Like I told you, it has 6 different types of head tag, starting from H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. So the biggest one is H1. The one that follows it is H2, down to the smallest one, which is H6. Now we have we want to have a head number 2. Now we open it again. We have H3. The moment you enter, you open the tag and you close it, the closing tag will come out automatically. Head number 3. Let's change this one. 2. I want you to see how the appearance look like. We have H4. We have head number 4. We have H5. That is head number 5. Then the last one we have H6. That is head number 6. Let's run and look and see its appearance. Now, look at what I'm talking about. Now, under our head tag now, if you look at the head number 1, which is the biggest head, this is the heading of our document. So we use this one to format the headings and sub-headings of our documents. When we have our document that have been prepared, normally we have the heading, the first heading, then we have sub-heading. Under that sub-heading, we can still have another headings. So you use this to format your headings. So that is the essence of our head tags. So we will use it to format our heading the way we want it to look, to appear on our web page, just like the way it has just appeared there. This is here. And there's one thing that we can also do when we want to, because normally we have our head tag here now as head number 1, which is the largest. Then you can define the how big or how bold you want that particular head to look like. You can define it. How do you define it? That is what I want us to look at now. If you want to define the tag, defining the tag, that the head, the after running it, this is what I'm talking about. You want this one to be bigger than this. For this one to be bigger than this, you can decide it without using the head tag. Let's close it and see what I'm talking about. We have H, H1. I think you are following me now. Then you can you can define the style. Then which is equal to, you see, anything style is all about CSS. But for us to determine how bold our documents should look, how big our documents should look. You see, we want to change the look of our document this time around, especially the headings. So we can incorporate the style documents, the style formats into it to increase the size of that particular head. So this is H1. I will say our style, which is equal to, now immediately you put our style is equal to the two quotations comes out, the double quotations. So it's telling you to enter one information inside this particular quote. So and the information we want to enter inside this particular quote is font size. You can say font size. Font size, we can define it to be 60. But when you are defining it to be 60, you have that to be pixel. Then you edit with a Now I'm telling this thing now that the font size of this particular tag should be 60 pixel. That is pixel element. So, and after that one, I can close it. Then after closing it, I will now add whatever I want to put there as a first, and maybe let's say heading. Look at what I'm talking about. So you can define the size of your head, the head of your document. You can also design the size of your subhead of everything that you are having. So in HTML, it's not necessary that you must stick to these head tags from 1 to 6. In most cases, you want to have your heading to look very bigger than H1. That is how you define it. So it increases the appearance of your head, the head of your documents. So that is That is it. So the head tags, like I said, when you have it, you can use it to format. We use some of this thing we use to format our document. And whatever you put here, that is how it's going to appear. But mind you, I'm putting everything under the body now because this is the body of the work. We have already left the head of the work where we put our title. Then after that one, it comes to the body of the work. So whatever we want to write that make our HTML will comes under the body of the work. Now let's go to the paragraph. The paragraph. So I'm very sure we have seen the paragraph. Paragraph tag. Paragraph tag. What we use to represent our paragraph tag is what? Is P. The P represents our paragraph tag. What it indicates is that the moment you put a paragraph and you are typing text, you are typing your text, as long as you are typing it down before you put the closing paragraph. Before you put the closing paragraph. So the moment you put the closing paragraph, if you want to start another one, it will start another paragraph because you are telling the content, you are telling the HTML that that this content should be between this paragraph between the opening paragraph and closing paragraph to end at the closing paragraph. So if I want to continue this information, this content now, and I am opening another paragraph and I am typing, and by the time I'm closing it, so this one will go to another paragraph. The first one goes to first paragraph. The second one goes to second paragraph. But if you have many documents that you want to type, probably you have a document like a page, the information about the organization, or the information about the author of a particular book, or you want to write short story about something, about someone. The moment you enter the opening tag, you have to complete the typing of the entire document before you put another closing tag on it. So it now tell the HTML that everything inside that opening and closing tag should be regarded as one document. At the moment you put the closing tag and you start another paragraph. So that is what this is doing. The paragraph allows us to open a paragraph in our page and to also close the paragraph in our page. So, and in most cases, if you type anything here, the first line goes, the second line goes, the third line goes, and you are putting the paragraph at the end of the last line. Everything will continue like that unless you break it. And for you to break it, you have to apply another tag. We call it BR. So you are using this one to break it. When we get that, you understand it better. Now let's go back to our page, to our design. After having done this, we want to look at our paragraph. Now we have our let's assume we have defined the way we want the headings to look like, which is the heading of our new document. Then you want to have the paragraph. You want to have the paragraph. This document is for HTML class for the populace. This document is HTML tag, is HTML document, is HTML class for the populace. Now, this is a paragraph. Let's see what is going to happen. You realize that the heading is there. Now, it has already created a space before putting this on. But if you look at this particular comment, is very tiny, so you can define how you want it to look like. If you want it to be bigger than this, or you want it to be smaller than this. If you want it to be bigger than this, you can go back here and add comment, add tag to read. If you now on air now, if you now say we are trying to add H1 and close it. Then let's bring the document here. Now, looking at this document now, we have already defined the heading, the head of this document. Now, the paragraph. Now, after that, we are creating another paragraph. If you look at this paragraph, after we have already entered the paragraph, we are not telling the HTML to make this content head 1, so to make it bolder the way it was. So by the time we go back there and run the document, you see the appearance of that. You see, it has become bigger. So that is how to make use of the head tag and the paragraph tag. So, but when we want to write our comment, we want to write our document, what we use is our paragraph tag. Take for instance, let's close it and also look at it. We have our text here. We want to have it like this. Full stop. This is part of Abinco International Resources Limited. This is part of Abinco International Resources Limited public social responsibility to the society. Now, look at this. We have already entered. We want to make. We have created tag here. We make the head to be. Now, this Abinco alone, Abinco International Resources Limited, you want to make it bolder than the remaining of the text. So it means from here we can define our age to, then we close it. Age to, then we close it. Then we now come to the end of we come to the end of Abinco, then we come to the end of the Abinco where we want to allow this tag to take effect. This is our document, but we want to give Abinco International Resources Limited different look outside the general look. Now that is why we are not defining the head, but we are not using the head as head 1. We are making use of the second head, which is head 2, to then let's run it and see what is going to happen. Look at it. You see, this document is HTML class for the populace. This is part of Abinco International Resources Limited social responsibility for the society. Now you can see that this document has divided into 3. It has divided into 3. Why? You see that this document has divided into 3. It has treated this one as first document, treated this one as second document, and treated this one as third document. So it means the only thing we can do, so this H2 is not going to work here. What we are going to use here is what? Is B. Then we also come here to put B. Let's see what is going to happen. That's what I want to. Can you see what I'm talking about now? Now, we have already. We are telling the document, the HTML, the web page now, after typing the old document, to make Abinco International Resources Limited bold than the remaining documents. That is how it is. So if you look at this one now, you see that this one is bolder than all this. So we cannot use head tag inside this. We can only use head tag to format the entire document. Take for instance, as it is here, you want to put head tag here. You can put head tag here, of course. H3 and we cut it and we come down here and we put it here and we run it. So the document is bigger now, but this Abinco International Resources Limited is still bolder than the remaining part of the document, because we have told this one to make it bold. We have told this one to make it bold. So in a nutshell, whatever you have inside the paragraph will be displayed as the content. At the moment you have another paragraph, it will. If you want to break it, fine. You can apply break. After this, you can say break, and you run it. You have already broken the line into 2. So that is, if like I said, the moment you have your tag, even when you have your paragraph, you can define your paragraph from the opening paragraph to the closing paragraph and have plenty text inside it. You can still use break tag to break it into pieces. Even when you have already defined the tag, it will recognize the entire document as paragraph. but you are breaking it probably for a purpose to itemize it or to create a bullet into it. So that is what so I think we are forging ahead. So that is all about the title, the head tag, and the paragraph tag. So I think we can move further. We can move further to HTML horizontal row. HTML horizontal row. HTML horizontal row. What does it use for? What is this one? What? How do we apply this? And what is it for? It is used to separate the content in the HTML. You have a content, and like I said, whatever you have between the opening and the closing tag is the content. And when you want to separate the content, you can use the HTML rules. You can use HTML rules to separate the content in your HTML. And the tag for this HTML is what? Is HR. It is horizontal rule. So HR is derived from the horizontal rule. So let's apply it on our code. We have let's say we have each one. Let's say we have H1. This is the heading. Then we have paragraph. This is the text. Now, after this one, we want to apply the horizontal rule. We want to apply the horizontal rule. Look, when you are defining an horizontal rule, the horizontal rule does not have a closing tag. It doesn't have the closing word tag. There are some tags that only has opening tag but does not have closing tag. Those tags are empty tags. We call those tags are empty tags. Like BR, break, is an empty tag. You use it to break. You can use it to break the document. It only has the opening tag but does not have the closing tag. So those tags are referred to as empty tag. So I just want you to note that one. Now we now come here again. We have put a horizontal rule there now. Then we open another one. H2. This is the heading. We come here again. We open another paragraph. Come here again, you apply horizontal rule. Are we moving? Then you open another paragraph again, add again. This is adding. Then you open another paragraph again. Then you close it. If you look at everything I've typed here, you realize that it is inside the body. Everything I've typed there is inside the body. So we have whatever we want to appear on our document should be inside the body of the document. After you have defined the title, you come to the body of the document. So now let's see what we are trying to see how horizontal row appear. Look at what we are talking about. Now look at the first one. I say this is the heading, this is the text, this is the heading, this is heading number 1, this is the paragraph, the text. After the heading, the paragraph has appeared. Then I told the system to rule it. That is when I apply HR, horizontal rule. We also have vertical rule, but this is horizontal rule. Then I open another one. This is the head, this is the text. I open another horizontal rule. So you can create horizontal rule like that in your documents with the tag HR. And HR, like I said, is an empty tag because it only has the opening tag. It does not have the closing tag. I want to believe that we are all getting this gradually. We are not going to take most of our time because of so that whatever we have done, you people can go back and practice it and get it, practice and understand it better. So, and there are some things that we are going to be using when we get to the HTML CSS class. Because the appearance of your page, the design of your page, the format and the theme of your page can be designed with the HTML with the CSS code. But apart from that, there are ways you can integrate the CSS code inside the HTML code. Of course, it is possible. We can integrate the CSS code inside the HTML tag, so and it will still work. So when we get to that aspect, we will work on it. So let's continue with that. So we are looking at some of the tags and how it works. Now, I've explained the bold tag for us, which is this. So if we are not going to apply the bold here, we can apply our bold here and say, when we say B, we can apply our bold there. And there's one thing about HTML code, it is not case sensitive. You can use capital letter and small letter, but in a coding class, we always advise the student to stick to small letter when you are using your tags. So I'm going to change this down to small letter now. So now, if we say, let's try this, if it were bold. Let's try this if it will be bold. Now let's run it and see what is going to happen. It is bold. So you can apply bold to your document. So that is the essence of applying bold. Just as we can apply bold, we can also apply Int'l. We can apply Int'l, and there are category of there are two types of bold. When we use B for bold, when you use B for bold, you are telling the HTML to bold the document. When you use strong for bold, you are telling the document that this particular statement is a special statement. As we are applying bold, we can apply strong. This is what I'm talking about. I want to use strong in place of bold. You can use strong in place of bold. And if you say wrong, it will still wrong. So it's bold, but strong is telling the HTML that this particular area that is bold is a special text. So just like when you want to do your Int'l, you want to italize. We can also italize. We can also italize our document. Let me copy and paste and send it to Int'l. There I come here and send it to Int'l. And I say wrong. It has italicized the statement. Do you know why the bold statement and the italic statement are together? Because we did not put it on paragraph. If we put it on the paragraph, it will separate it. Or if we use now you break, like I said the last time, we can break it. If I say break, if I now said this br, if I said and I close it, if I run it, I've already applied break into it. Can you see now? It has broken it. Because if I don't want it to be on the same line, I can break it. If I want it to be on the same line, then I will leave it like that. I can also use paragraph. But if I'm using paragraph, if it's not breaking like this, it will break it and create a paragraph into it. Let's look at what I'm talking about. Now, I've already applied break to this. I said it should break it. But before going to that, there's another. In the case of bold, we use B and strong. In the case of Int'l, we use I and en. It's still telling you are still making that particular Int'l, but to be special within the text. So it will still perform the function of Int'l, but you are telling the HTML that this particular aspect, this particular area of the HTML is a special italicized document, and that is why it is like this. You can see it will still italize it, but it's only telling the HTML that this is a special aspect of this is a special area. It will recognize this as a special Int'l, just like it will recognize this one as a special bold, special text. So now, because we have applied BR here, which signifies broken. Now, if you don't want it to break, we can also make it a paragraph. If you say paragraph, let me apply paragraph here. Let me apply paragraph here. Let me apply paragraph here. You will see that it will not be on the same line. It will create a paragraph for it. And let's try and run it. Can you see that it has created a paragraph? Now, I'm very sure we should be able to understand the difference between when you apply a break and when we apply paragraph. When we apply break, it will only break the text. It will not make it a paragraph. And when breaking the text, the space between the two lines will be closer. Unlike when you are applying the paragraph. When you are applying the paragraph, the space between the two lines will be wider because it is a paragraph. Now, look at the space now. Let's look at it again. If you look at this space now, say it's wide. It's like what is it called? 2 cm paragraph. See the double line paragraph. It's like the double line paragraph as it is now. But that one, when you break it, it will come like a single line paragraph. Let's look at it. Let's remove. Let's undo. Ctrl Z. We are trying to undo it. We are Ctrl Z in it. So as we have Ctrl Z it, we are undoing it now. So we are already. Now, you know the strong is here to make it bold. Then the EM to make it italics. But you want to apply break. You want to apply break. Break, like I said initially, break is an empty tag. It does not have. It doesn't have a close the tag. So when you now close it, when you try to run it now, when you try to run it, can you see it is a single line space? Then when you create a paragraph now, it will give you all this one that you are seeing here. They are single lines, they are double line space. What they are paragraph. But because we are breaking it with BR, it's going to be appear in a single line spacing. So that is how it works. So I think at this junction, we should be able to use the head tag, the paragraph tag, the bold tag, the strong tag, the bold which comprise the B and strong, the Italy which comprise the I and EN, then and the break tag. So, and apart from that, we should be able to apply the horizontal line. The horizontal line that we applied earlier, we should be able to apply it now. So that is how it is. So after the class, please, I want you to go back at your own when you are less busy. Try to demonstrate this. For those that are using Android phone, like I told you, go and download the TribeEdit and use it to practice it. I am going to send the video of how to open a folder using TribeEdit. I'm going to, that video will also tell you how to create file using TribeEdit. So because that is what we are going to be using. So now in our next class now, we are going to look at the formatting. Well, part of the formatting is what we have done today. We have done the big, the bold, the strong, the Italy, the emphasized text, which is EM. We are emphasizing that this is special. So we are going to look at the mark text. We are going to look at the small text. We are going to look at delete text. We are going to look at insert tag rather. We are going to look at subscript tag. We are going to look at superscript tag. So when we are done with that, we can now move to the HTML image tag. So all this one, we use that to format our text. So we continue with our formatting text on Friday. So when we are done with our formatted text, we will now move to the image tag. How to make use of image tag? What are the attributes under the image tags? Under the source attribute, we are going to look at it. The source attribute on the image tag, we are going to look at it. So we are going to look at a tag, which is a hyperlink tag. When you want to hyperlink, you want to link a page from one page to the other. So at that particular point, we are going to create another file, because before you can link, you must have 2 or 3 files. So what we have been working on here is one file. So we are going to create another file inside this particular folder. So when we create another file inside this particular folder, so we can be able to upload the image that we want to use to apply on our web page. How we can drag it from the folder to the platform. So we are going to look at that one. Then the A tag, which is used for hyperlink. So we are going to look at it. We also go to look at the attribute of that A tag, which is href. We are going to look at it. We are going to look at the width, the width attribute. We are going to look at apart from looking at the width attribute, we are going to look at the height attribute and some other style that can make our web page look beautiful. So that is how we continue. So we are going to end this class for today, but everything that we have done here, I want you to go and practice it. If you don't practice it, you won't get it. That is one thing about HTML. Whether you want to use HTML, which is a Marcos language, or you want to use coding, which is a programming language. It is a programming language that we use coding. It is in HTML we use Marcos language. So all these things we are using now, they are Marcos language. So by the time we get to PHP, then we can now be talking of coding. By the time we get to JavaScript, we can be talking of coding. By the time we get to every other thing we want to use, then we want to link everything to our database. By the time we get it, so please, the main objectives of this training, it is free. We are not taxing anybody. We are not asking for money. The company is training people, is training Nigerian youth, so that you can be self-employed. You can comfortably sit down at the back of your house and develop a website for an organization. Not just ordinary website. You should be able to develop a dynamic website, web-based application. I think you understand what I'm talking about. So that is the essence of this. You want you to be self-employed. If you can work perfectly with HTML, can work perfectly with CSS, can work perfectly with PHP, you can work perfectly with MySQL. What are we talking about? You can develop a JavaScript to put effect, to activate some features on your website. You are done. So with that, you can comfortably sit down at the back of your house and open an office where all these things will be carried out. And for those of people that are doing Japa, if you don't have anything reasonable that you want to do outside the country, why are you going there? You travel, you go Japa, you are at the end of the day, you are there doing all this. No. As an IT person, as somebody from other field that is navigated to IT field, you should be able to have something reasonable. We are in IT world, whether anybody like it or not. The world is dynamic. The world is evolving. So into IT. So IT is going up and up every day. So after this one now, there is a particular class we are going to organize for the populace too. That is on cyber security. What are the career paths in cyber security? How can you be a cyber security professional? How can you be an ethical hacker? Ethical hacker, an hacker that is licensed to hack. You want to be someone that is licensed to hack any information. An ethical hacking. How can you be an ethical hacker? So those are the things we want to train the people. We want to impart knowledge into the people so that people will be useful. You can be self-employed, you can do all sorts of things with IT, and at the end of the day, you will be praying for our company. You will be thanking us. So please, everything that we have executed today, let's go and practice it. If you have not downloaded the application, go and download it. Go and run it. It is very easy. You can go to Play Store, download it. Just go to Play Store and download it and run it. If you are using your laptop, just go and search for the Visual Studio Code, download it and install it. It is free license. So the moment you are done with that, you are ready for the class. So please, everything we have done today, practice it very well. Lay your hand on it. Don't just listen to the class. Lay your hand on it. This is when you lay your hand on it that we know it better. So please, this will come to the end of the class. I wish you all the best. Thank you and God bless.